Have you ever noticed that even when you eat healthy, your blood sugar still seems to rise for no reason? That's exactly what happened to George, a 62-year-old retiree who thought he was doing everything right. Every morning, he started his day with a bowl of oatmeal topped with what he believed was the healthiest food on earth, fruit. He felt proud of his choices, knowing he'd swapped out cookies and pastries for something natural. But 3 weeks later, at his routine checkup, his doctor frowned. "George, your fasting blood sugar just went up by nearly 20 points. What changed?" George looked confused. "Nothing really," he said. "I just started eating more fruit instead of snacks." And that's when his doctor gave him a look of disbelief. Because what George didn't know, and what most people over 60 still don't realize, is that some fruits can spike your blood sugar faster than a candy bar. Yes, you heard that right. Some of the most common fruits we consider healthy can actually send your glucose soaring within minutes. Doctors around the world are beginning to warn about one fruit, in particular a fruit that sits in almost every kitchen, every fruit salad, and every breakfast table. Before you panic and toss out your fruit bowl, take a breath. Not all fruits are bad. In fact, some are your best allies in keeping blood sugar steady and energy levels strong. The problem isn't fruit itself, it's which fruit, how ripe it is, and how you eat it. In today's video, we're going to break it all down. You'll discover the healthy fruit that can secretly skyrocket your blood sugar, what it does inside your body, and which 5 fruits actually help you stay balanced, especially if you're managing prediabetes or diabetes after 60. We'll also show you the simple way to test how any fruit affects your body, using just your home glucose meter and a little curiosity. Because when it comes to food, one size never fits all. So if you've ever wondered why your blood sugar stays high even when you eat clean, or if you've been told to just eat more fruit without knowing which ones are safe, stay tuned. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which fruits to enjoy freely, which to limit, and how to build a blood sugar-friendly plate without giving up flavor or joy. Now, before we dive in, take a quick guess in the comments. Which fruit do you think spikes blood sugar the fastest? Grapes, bananas, or mangoes? Your answer might surprise you. Most of us have been told that fruits are nature's candy sweet, refreshing, and good for you no matter what. We've heard it for decades. Eat more fruit, it's healthy. But here's the surprising truth that many people, and even some doctors, overlook. Not all fruits are created equal. Some of the very fruits we think are safe can actually cause your blood sugar to surge faster than a candy bar. Let's start with a simple example. Grapes. They look harmless, small, juicy, and full of goodness. But what's inside those little spheres is a type of natural sugar called fructose, and it behaves very differently from the kind of sugar you add to your coffee. When you eat grapes, that fructose doesn't need insulin to enter your cells. Instead, it goes straight to your liver, and when your liver receives more fructose than it can handle, it turns part of it into glucose, which raises your blood sugar, and the rest into fat, which slowly builds up around your liver and waistline. Over time, that fat can make it even harder for your body to use insulin properly. In other words, too much fruit sugar can quietly push you toward insulin resistance. Even if everything you're eating seems healthy, 1 cup of grapes can raise your blood sugar almost as quickly as a glass of soda. It's not because grapes are bad, but because they deliver sugar to your bloodstream in one quick wave, especially if you eat them alone on an empty stomach. And grapes aren't the only ones that do this. Mangoes, pineapples, and ripe bananas all share something in common. They're high in natural sugar and have a high glycemic index. That means your body breaks them down fast, sending sugar into your blood in a matter of minutes. Pineapple sits around 66 on the glycemic index, grapes around 59, and mangoes around 51. Now compare that with strawberries or green apples, which sit closer to the low 40s and release sugar far more slowly. The difference might seem small on paper, but inside your body, it's massive. After 60, these spikes matter even more. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows. Our muscles hold less sugar. Our pancreas works harder, and our liver doesn't clear glucose as efficiently as it once did. So what used to be a mild sugar rise in your 40s can now become a steep blood sugar spike in your 60s. And there's another hidden factor few people think about: ripeness. The riper the fruit, the higher its sugar load. When a banana turns from green to yellow and starts developing brown spots, much of its starch has already turned into simple sugar. A slightly green banana will usually raise your blood sugar less than a soft, sweet, spotted one. The same goes for mangoes and even pineapples. The sweeter they taste, the quicker they hit your bloodstream. Imagine you finish lunch with a generous bowl of fresh pineapple. Within minutes, fructose travels straight to your liver. Your blood sugar shoots up. Insulin kicks in to bring it down. And 2 hours later, you feel tired, maybe even a bit dizzy or craving something else sweet. That mid-afternoon crash isn't a sign of getting older. It's your blood sugar swinging from high to low. Studies from the American Diabetes Association have confirmed that too much fructose, even from natural sources like fruit, can worsen insulin resistance and make it harder to keep blood sugar steady, especially in older adults. But this doesn't mean you should stop eating fruit. Fruits are still one of the best gifts of nature. They're rich in vitamins, antioxidants, and fiber, all things your body truly needs. The key is not to give them up, but to eat them wisely. So here's what I tell my patients: don't fear fruit, but respect it. Think of it like natural dessert. Wonderful in small portions, and even better when paired with protein or healthy fat. If you love grapes, have about 10 or 12 and pair them with a handful of almonds or a spoonful of Greek yogurt. If mango is your favorite, enjoy half a small one alongside breakfast, never alone in the afternoon. And if you can't resist pineapple, eat it after a meal, not before. When you combine fruit with other foods, the fiber, protein, and fat help slow down how quickly your body absorbs sugar, keeping your glucose steadier for longer. Most people who make these small changes see their post-meal blood sugar drop by 20 or even 30 points within a week. They feel more alert, less tired, and notice fewer cravings throughout the day. It's not magic, it's physiology. So, no, you don't have to cut fruit from your life. You simply have to choose the right ones, at the right time, in the right way. Because fruit, when eaten with awareness, can be your friend, but when eaten carelessly, it can quietly work against you. In the next part, we'll go even deeper. You'll discover what actually happens inside your body when fructose enters your system, why it behaves so differently from other sugars, and how understanding this can help you protect your heart, your liver, and your energy for years to come. To truly understand why certain fruits can send your blood sugar soaring, we have to take a quick trip inside your body. Don't worry, no complicated biology, just a clear picture of what's really happening every time you take that sweet bite. When you eat fruit, the first thing your body does is break it down into simple sugars. Most fruits contain two main types, glucose and fructose. Glucose is the one your body knows how to handle easily. It enters your bloodstream and triggers your pancreas to release insulin, which helps move that sugar into your cells for energy. Fructose, on the other hand, plays by completely different rules. It doesn't raise insulin right away. In fact, it skips most of that process and heads straight for your liver. Inside the liver, fructose is converted into glucose and other substances. That sounds harmless, but there's a catch. Your liver can only process a small amount at a time. When you overload it, say, by eating large servings of high-sugar fruits like grapes, pineapple, or ripe mango, your liver quickly becomes saturated. The excess fructose is then turned into fat. Some of it stays in the liver, leading to what doctors call fatty liver, and some circulates in the bloodstream, raising triglyceride levels. Both can quietly increase your risk of diabetes and heart disease over time. Now, here's the part that surprises many people. When fructose builds up in the liver, it also interferes with how your body responds to insulin. It's as if the liver becomes deaf to insulin's message, forcing your pancreas to work harder to produce more. This is the beginning of insulin resistance, one of the most common reasons people in their 60s struggle to keep their blood sugar steady, even with a healthy diet. You might not feel this happening right away, but your body gives small clues. After eating a high fructose meal, you might feel tired or foggy, maybe even thirsty. You might notice hunger, coming back too soon, or energy that drops suddenly a few hours after eating. Those ups and downs, that roller coaster feeling, are your body's way of saying, my sugar balance is off. But here's the good news. You can calm that roller coaster. One of the most powerful tools is fiber. Fruits that are high in fiber, like apples, berries, and pears, naturally slow down how quickly sugar is absorbed. Fiber acts like a gentle speed bump, giving your liver time to handle fructose in smaller amounts. That's why eating the whole fruit is always better than drinking the juice. When you remove fiber, like in juice or smoothies, all that sugar hits your bloodstream at once. Protein and healthy fats also play a big role. When you pair fruit with something like yogurt, eggs, nuts, or seeds, you create a buffer that slows digestion. This prevents those sharp spikes and crashes. It's not about avoiding sweetness. It's about balancing it. Think of your body like a traffic system. Glucose and fructose are cars trying to get through. If you send too many at once, say, by eating a big bowl of ripe fruit on an empty stomach, you create a traffic jam. The roads, your liver and cells get overwhelmed, and chaos follows. But if you add a bit of fiber, protein, and fat, you're adding stoplights, lanes, and order to that traffic. Everything moves more smoothly, and your energy stays steady for hours. Now, some people wonder, if fructose doesn't immediately raise insulin, doesn't that make it safer? The answer is no. Fructose doesn't show up as a quick sugar spike in your glucose meter, but over time, it creates deeper problems behind the scenes. Liver fat, insulin resistance, and metabolic slowdown. It's the silent kind of damage that builds gradually, which is why so many people are caught off guard when their lab results suddenly show elevated blood sugar, cholesterol, or fatty liver. But knowledge is power. Once you understand this process, you can use it to your advantage. Choose fruits that work with your body, not against it. Go for those rich in fiber and lower in fructose berries, apples, kiwis, and grapefruit. Enjoy them whole, not juiced. And whenever you can, eat them alongside protein or healthy fat. If you do that consistently, you'll notice real changes, steadier energy, fewer cravings, and better blood sugar readings. Your liver will thank you, your heart will thank you, and you'll feel the difference in your focus and mood. 2. So the next time you reach for a piece of fruit, remember, nature gives us both sugar and balance. Our job is to choose wisely. In the next part, we'll look at what doctors recommend to stabilize your blood sugar naturally, including which fruits help lower glucose over time, and how to build a daily routine that keeps you steady, strong, and full of energy. If you've ever been told that fruit is always healthy, you're not alone. Most of us grew up believing that eating more fruit could only do good. But in recent years, many doctors have started to challenge that old advice, especially when it comes to blood sugar and aging metabolism. Dr. Ellen Marks, an endocrinologist who has worked with hundreds of diabetic patients, often tells her patients this simple truth: natural doesn't always mean safe for your blood sugar. She explains that the word natural has become one of the most misunderstood terms in nutrition. Yes, fruit is natural, but so is sugarcane, honey, and even poison ivy. What matters most is how your body responds to what's natural. One of the most common misconceptions doctors encounter is the idea that if something doesn't have added sugar, it can't raise blood sugar. That's simply not true. Natural sugars like those found in fruits or juices behave exactly like table sugar once they enter your bloodstream. Your body doesn't care whether the glucose came from a cookie or a cup of mango slices. Sugar is sugar. Another major myth is that fruit juice is healthier than eating the whole fruit. Many people think juicing is an easy way to get more vitamins. But the problem is, when you juice a fruit, you remove nearly all of its fiber, the very thing that slows down sugar absorption. What you're left with is liquid sugar that can spike your glucose within minutes. Studies show that drinking fruit juice regularly can increase the risk of type 2 diabetes, while eating whole fruits can actually lower it. That's a huge difference, and it all comes down to fiber. Dr. Marks often compares fruit juice to sugar water. with vitamins. It might look healthy, but it acts more like soda in your bloodstream. So, if you enjoy juice, treat it as an occasional treat, and always pair it with a meal that includes protein or healthy fats to soften the spike. Another misconception is that if it's fruit, you can eat as much as you want. That's something many of her older patients struggle with because fruit feels light. It's easy to underestimate how much sugar you're actually consuming. For instance, one medium banana can have the same sugar content as 3 teaspoons of table sugar. 2 cups of grapes, that's equivalent to a can of cola. Nobody would drink cola and call it a health drink. But when it comes to fruit, people forget that sugar still counts. Doctors also point out a subtle but important issue: perception. We often think in whole fruit units rather than serving sizes. A serving isn't a whole bowl of fruit. It's about half a cup for most varieties. When people start measuring, they realize how easy it is to go overboard. A healthy fruit salad can easily contain more than 40 grams of sugar. That's 10 teaspoons. And here's another trap. Dry fruits, raisins, dates, dried mangoes all sound wholesome, right? But when you remove the water, what's left is pure concentrated sugar. Just a small handful of raisins can have the same sugar as a full cup of grapes. That's why many doctors recommend keeping dried fruits for emergencies or small toppings, not as snacks. But not all doctors are here to scare you. Most want to empower you. They remind patients that fruit can still be part of a balanced diet. The key is knowing your numbers and choosing wisely. Low glycemic fruits like berries, apples, kiwi, and grapefruit can actually help stabilize blood sugar because they contain fiber and plant compounds that slow glucose release. The difference between a sugar spike and a steady curve often comes down to that choice. And here's something else that doctors emphasize. Your body is unique. 2 people can eat the exact same fruit and have completely different blood sugar responses. That's why self-monitoring using a glucose meter or continuous glucose monitor is such a powerful tool. It takes the guesswork out of what's safe and helps you personalize your plate. Some people discover that even a small amount of pineapple sends their sugar up, while others can enjoy it without a problem. Knowledge like that is far more valuable than any diet rule. So, what do doctors want you to remember most? Fruit is not the villain, but the modern diet where we snack all day and eat without balance turns even good foods into a problem. By slowing down, measuring portions, and combining fruit with fiber, protein, or fat, you give your body a chance to handle sugar gracefully. In the next part, we'll put this science into practice. We'll build a simple, doctor-approved action plan showing you exactly which fruits to keep, which to limit, and how to combine them to protect your energy, your waistline, and your long-term blood sugar health. If this breakdown is opening your eyes a little, take a second to let me know below. Leave a quick comment telling me which fruit surprised you the most so far. Was it grapes, mango, or maybe that morning banana you thought was harmless? Your experience might help someone else who's struggling to understand their own numbers. And if this kind of clear, science-made simple information helps you, please tap the like button. It tells me to keep making more videos like this. You can also hit subscribe and turn on the little bell so you never miss the next step-by-step guide on how to balance your blood sugar, protect your heart, and feel your best after 60. Alright, now let's get back to the good part, the solution, because in the next section, we'll look at the fruits that actually help stabilize blood sugar and how to combine them for steady energy all day. Now that we've talked about the fruits that can quietly send your blood sugar soaring, it's time for some good news. There are plenty of fruits that can actually help your body stay balanced. These are the fruits that digest slowly, release their natural sugars gently, and bring along powerful nutrients that protect your heart, your energy, and your metabolism. The goal isn't to avoid fruit, it's to choose smarter. Let's start with one of nature's true gifts, berries. Whether it's strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, these tiny fruits are loaded with fiber and antioxidants. Their deep colors aren't just beautiful. They come from natural compounds that help reduce inflammation and support your blood vessels. Berries have one of the lowest sugar contents among all fruits, and the fiber they contain slows down digestion so that your blood sugar rises gently, not sharply. A small bowl of berries after lunch or dinner is one of the best choices you can make. In fact, studies show that eating a cup of mixed berries a few times a week can actually improve insulin sensitivity in older adults. So if you crave something sweet, berries are your safest and most satisfying dessert. Next comes the humble green apple crisp, tart, and refreshingly light. Unlike the sweeter red varieties, green apples have less sugar and more pectin, a special kind of fiber that helps slow down how quickly sugar is released into your bloodstream. It also feeds the healthy bacteria in your gut, which in turn helps your body regulate blood sugar naturally. Many people find that pairing half a green apple with a spoon of peanut butter or a few almonds keeps them full for hours and prevents mid-morning or late afternoon sugar crashes. It's simple, practical, and it works. Then there's kiwi, one of the most underrated fruits out there. This small, fuzzy fruit is surprisingly powerful. Kiwis are low in fructose, rich in vitamin C, and full of soluble fiber that smooths out post-meal blood sugar levels. Some studies even show that eating a kiwi before bed can improve overnight blood sugar stability and digestion for anyone over 60 who struggles with restless nights or fluctuating energy in the morning. That's a small but meaningful change. Another excellent choice is grapefruit. Many people remember grapefruit from old-fashioned diets, but doctors today appreciate it for a different reason. Grapefruit contains plant compounds that help your body use insulin more efficiently. Its tangy flavor comes with a naturally low glycemic load, meaning it won't flood your blood with sugar. Half a grapefruit before breakfast or added to a salad can help you stay satisfied for longer and keep your glucose steady. One important note, though, if you take medication, especially for blood pressure or cholesterol, talk to your doctor before eating grapefruit regularly. It can interact with certain drugs, and your safety always comes first. And finally, let's talk about a fruit most people forget is a fruit: the avocado. Unlike the others, avocado is low in sugar but high in healthy fats, potassium, and fiber. It helps you feel full, supports your heart, and slows down how quickly sugar from other foods enters your bloodstream. For many people managing diabetes or prediabetes, half an avocado a day is one of the best tools for blood sugar stability. You can add it to toast, salads, or smoothies. It's smooth, creamy, and deeply nourishing. So now that we know which fruits are good, let's talk about how to eat them the right way. The secret isn't just what you eat, it's when and how. Always think of fruit as part of a meal, not as a standalone snack. When you eat fruit on an empty stomach, its sugars enter your bloodstream much faster. But when you eat it after a meal that includes protein, healthy fats, or fiber, your body absorbs that sugar more slowly, keeping your glucose steady for hours. Timing makes a big difference. Portion size matters too. A healthy serving of fruit is about half a cup to 1 cup at a time roughly. The size of your fist. More than that, even with healthy fruit, can overwhelm your system. It's also important to choose whole fruits over juices or smoothies. When you blend or juice, you remove or break down much of the fiber, the very thing that protects you from sugar spikes. The fiber in the skin and pulp is your best friend. It slows everything down, keeps your digestion healthy, and helps your body use sugar for energy instead of storing it as fat. And remember, fresh or frozen fruit is always better than canned or dried. Dried fruits like raisins or dates may seem small, but they're concentrated with sugar. Just a handful can equal the sugar of a whole cup of fresh fruit. So save dried fruits for special occasions or small toppings rather than daily snacks. Once you start applying these small adjustments, timing, pairing, and portions, you'll begin to notice the difference quickly. Your energy will feel steadier, your cravings will ease, and your blood sugar readings will become more predictable. You'll find that fruit doesn't have to be the enemy. It can be a natural ally for stable, healthy living. So the next time you reach for something sweet, choose a fruit that loves you back, one that nourishes instead of draining you, because balance not restriction, is the key. When you understand your food starts working for you, not against you. And coming up next, we'll answer some of the most common questions I hear from my patients. Questions like, can I still eat mango if I eat less? Is a ripe banana really bad for me? And when is the best time of day to eat fruit? You might be surprised by the answers. By now, you probably have a few questions running through your mind, and that's good. It means you're thinking about how all this fits into your daily life. So, let's take a few minutes to clear up some of the most common myths and questions about fruit and blood sugar, the ones I hear most often from my patients and viewers just like you. The first question I always get is, can I still eat mango if I only eat a little? The short answer is yes, you can. The key is portion and pairing. Mango is naturally sweet, and yes, it can raise blood sugar quickly if you eat too much or eat it alone. But when you limit yourself to half a small mango and combine it with protein or healthy fat, like a spoonful of Greek yogurt or a few nuts, it behaves very differently. The fiber and fat slow down on how fast your body absorbs the sugar, turning a potential sugar spike into a gentle curve. So no, you don't have to give it up entirely. You just have to be mindful. Another one I hear all the time is, are ripe bananas bad for you? Well, bad is a strong word, but it's true that a very ripe banana, the kind covered in brown spots, contains more simple sugar and less resistant starch than a greenish one. That means it digests faster and can raise blood sugar more quickly. If you love bananas, choose one that's still a little firm and pair it with protein, maybe half a banana with some peanut butter or a boiled egg. You'll get the same comfort and sweetness, but your blood sugar will thank you. A third question I often hear is, if fruit has natural sugar, does that mean I can eat it any time of day? Not quite. Timing matters more than most people realize. When you eat fruit by itself, especially first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, your blood sugar tends to spike faster because there's nothing else in your system to slow it down. But when you eat fruit after a meal, or as part of breakfast with protein or healthy fat, the impact is much smaller. So think of fruit as a supporting actor, not the star of the show. Let it complement your meals rather than steal the spotlight. Now, here's a question that surprises people. What about fruit smoothies? Aren't they healthy? Smoothies can be healthy or they can be a sugar bomb. It all depends on what's in them. If your smoothie has 2 bananas, a cup of mango, and some orange juice, you've just created a drink with more sugar than a can of soda. But if you build your smoothie with a handful of berries, half a banana, spinach, chia seeds, and unsweetened almond milk, you've made a blood sugar-friendly powerhouse. The difference is in the balance: less fruit, more fiber, and some protein or fat to keep things steady. Another myth I love to clear up is, dried fruits are healthier than candy. I wish that were true, but sadly, no. When fruit is dried, the water is removed and the sugar becomes concentrated. Just a small handful of raisins has the same sugar as a full cup of grapes. Dates and dried mangoes are even more concentrated. They're fine in tiny portions, say 2 or 3 pieces, but think of them more as natural sweets, not snacks. If you crave something chewy or sweet, a few nuts with a small date is much better than eating a handful of dried fruit alone. And then there's the one I hear from almost everyone. If my blood sugar is normal, does that mean I can eat any fruit I want? The truth is, even if your blood sugar is fine now, your body still responds differently to certain fruits. Some people are more sensitive to fructose or to fast-digesting carbs. That's why self-awareness matters. If you have a glucose meter, test your sugar 1 to 2 hours after eating your favorite fruit. The number won't lie. You'll know exactly how your body reacts. That personal feedback is more powerful than any diet rule. Finally, people often ask, what's the best time of the day to eat fruit? The answer is, when your body can handle it best, usually earlier in the day or after meals. Morning or lunchtime is ideal because your metabolism is more active, and you're more likely to use the sugar for energy rather than store it. Late night fruit snacking, on the other hand, often leads to higher fasting blood sugar the next morning. So, if you love an evening treat, go for a few berries or half an apple with some yogurt instead of a full fruit plate. When you understand these small details, fruit becomes your ally, not your enemy. It's all about strategy portion. pairing, and timing. You don't have to fear fruit. You just have to eat it with awareness. Every small adjustment helps you take control of your blood sugar without feeling restricted or deprived. And here's the truth. Most people discover once they start practicing this balance, you feel better. Your energy is steadier, your mood improves, and you stop riding that roller coaster of highs and crashes. That's the beauty of knowledge applied with care. Coming up next, we'll wrap everything together. I'll summarize the key lessons from this video and give you one clear, simple action plan you can start using today to keep your blood sugar steady while still enjoying the sweetness of life. So, let's take a breath and pull everything together. If there's one thing I hope you remember from this video, it's that fruit is not your enemy. Confusion is. For years, people have been told to just eat more fruit without understanding how different types affect blood sugar in completely different ways. The truth is, some fruits give your body gentle, steady energy, while others can send your glucose soaring like a roller coaster. We've seen how grapes, mangoes, and pineapples, though natural and delicious, can cause fast sugar spikes, especially when eaten in large amounts or on an empty stomach. We've also learned that fruits like berries, green apples, kiwis, grapefruits, and even avocados can work with your body, keeping your sugar balanced and your energy strong. The difference isn't luck, it's science, timing, and a little awareness. We've also talked about how fruit works inside your body, how fructose travels straight to your liver, how it can be converted into glucose or